Hello, Dungeons & Dragons tubers, and welcome back to an introductory video to Pools of Darkness with me, BlueAnkylo. I will be showing the in-game demo and story catch-up at the end of this video. For now, I need to make sure it doesn't auto-start because you can't exit out of it. So, everyone, hello, how's it going? Hope you've enjoyed your break since the last entry into the series. This is the fourth game in the Gold Box Pool of Radiance series. It went Pool of Radiance, Curse of the Azure Bond, Secret of the Silver Blades, and now Pools of Darkness. So, I will give you the sort of recap, story update, and demo of the new system at the end of this video, like I said. It's basically the same style as the last three games, obviously. They're all on the Gold Box engine, whatever they call that. So it's first edition Dungeons & Dragons. And this is the fourth in the series, so we're all quite a high level. You'll see lots of +4, +5, sort of superior tier of weapons and magic and all that. So that's the plan for that. Just to get a couple things out of the way, let's load a temporary save up right away, just so I can show you what it looks like. These are potentially the 6 characters we're going to play with, same as we had in Secret of the Silver Blades, but there is a caveat. On this episode, all 6 of these characters need to make a comment that they would like to continue being in the game. And if they do not, that opens up the spot for new characters. So if you're one of the 6, make sure you leave some sort of comment below this video, maybe explaining what's happened in between the games, or any kind of character development you'd like to add. If you do not, then new viewers who were not part of the last series, you might want to leave a couple potential character descriptions below the video that I might swap in. Now, just to be clear, the basic character design isn't going to change. I'm not going to suddenly have 6 thieves, for instance. So we'll be playing with sort of the character build-up, the stats and stuff that we've been building up along the series. But we can change the name and personality and some stuff like that, the artwork and so on and so forth, if we have a new viewer that would like to take over some positions. So anyway, let's look at the game quickly. You don't have to worry about these sorts of things. Here we go, and let me just refresh the gold box thingamajigger so that this works. Okay, good, everything's up to date. So, what I want to talk about before we get to the demo stage. I'm not going to spoil anything, this is just the first town, nothing to worry about here. So there's been a big update on Gold Box Companion. That's what gives us the map on the left and the character things on the top of the screen. Normally all you would see is the window surrounded in gold foil. That's the actual game view. And then the extra character HP, experience, and action bar is extra stuff. And then the map is extra. So Gold Box Companion adds quite a few... oops, I totally just tabbed out by accident. That was a good job, Blue. Very professional. Gold Box Companion adds a bunch of extra features, and it's been updated quite a few times since the last time I did a Let's Play of the series. So there's some new features in here. I don't really want to go through all of it, but... let's see. This in-camp fix was mostly just for Pools of Radiance, because they didn't have that command in until Secret of the Silver Blades, the in-game command. You can unexplore the map or fill it out. As you explore, it fills in details. You can reset that here. There's an editor that I've had to use a little bit, and I try not to cheat too much. I guess you guys can't see what I just clicked on, but it's like a character editor for all your guys. And while we're playing the game, I won't really be using it for anything. But it definitely helped me import the characters, because I'll talk about that in a minute. But importing my dudes did not work out the way I planned. So the editor's there, which is definitely handy. The races thing is to do with some of the old first edition level up class restrictions were very old-fashioned. So you can use Gold Box Companion to be a race that could normally not be a certain class or a certain level of a class. I think in the originals, a dwarf could only get to level... I don't know what the levels were exactly, but say level 7 fighter or something. Maybe they didn't have a cap on fighter, but point is certain races had level caps, and this lets you get around that if you'd like. Other than that, there's a... So if a vampire or some undead creature drains your levels permanently, there's a spell that restores it, and the auto fix will cast that spell that restores your lost levels. But I believe if you've saved and reloaded, the game sort of locks it in as you've permanently lost a level, and the restoration spell doesn't return it. This is a fix for that. There's a, somewhere in here, there's a level up, so you don't have to go to a training hall to level up. There's the option to auto-identify if you've got the Detect Magic spell cast, because in future Dungeons & Dragons games, most people get it. You generally have someone in your game with like a lore skill or an identify spell of some sort. First edition's kind of annoying. You have to take everything back to a shop to ID it. So some of these things have been added into Goldbox Companion to add little quality of life things, basically. And then this is like for the top screen, like what you can see up above for these guys. I can't mouse over them. So anyway, that's Goldbox Companion. I highly recommend installing it and playing it with any of these Goldbox games. I'm sure there's a link in the description for this video to it because I find it so important for making these old games easier to get back into. Okay, so with that done, I want to do a little bit of a character overview here. I have to click on my screen first, of course. So let's have a quick look at our 6 characters. So like I was saying earlier a little bit, my import did not work. So I actually somehow managed to get my save file corrupted from my end game save of Secret of the Silver Blades. So all I had to go on was my video footage and sort of screenshots of what the stats and weaponry were of my characters at the end of the last game. Luckily, with the character editor, we could hack basically everything in. And what made it extra difficult this time is if you can properly import your old save file, they actually keep all your gear, which is something that every other game up to this one has wiped out. So like if you imported your Pool of Radiance character into Curse of the Azure Bonds, you would lose all your gear. You'd keep your stats and your levels and your spells that you've learned, like memorize or spell book, basically anything you've scribed into your spell book. But all of your equipment would be lost. In this game, you actually keep it, or at least most of it. I haven't actually been able to see a proper import, so I don't know exactly what you get. From what I could tell, basically everything. So with Goldbox Companion, I was able to look at what we had at the end of the last game and mostly replicate it. It's a very old-fashioned character editor, and if you're trying to do it as well, I wish you good luck. You have to figure out the item ID number of various things, like what is a longsword's ID number? Turns out it's like 18. So if you want a longsword to have the stats of a longsword with the 1d8 damage, you better figure that out. And it's difficult because every item has a different ID number, and the bonus, like +4, +5, is easy enough to figure out. But sometimes you'll have magical equipment that has like some sort of weird property, like I used to have a ring of wizardry that gave us, I believe, doubled the number of level 5 magic user spell slots. I have no idea how to replicate that. Like that's a special effect that there's an ID number for it, I'm sure, but I don't know what it is. So I've lost some magical gear like that. I couldn't figure it out. There was a few people that had like girdles of ogre power. That's why Shinka has 23 strength. He's supposed to have a piece of equipment that gives him just sets his strength to 23. The thing is, I don't know how to replicate that exactly, so I just set his base strength to 23. The story for something like that would be he's worn it so long it's just become part of him, he can't take it off. No one's changing that underwear. So that's just built into his character. And I figure that's fine for some things. But we've lost a few things. I think there was some boots of striding, I believe. They doubled your movements, how many squares you can move per turn in combat. I can't copy those, and I can't just change your movement stats, so stuff like that was lost. It shouldn't be a big deal. We'll find new stuff as we go, but I'm just trying to say, for the most part, I've managed to duplicate the AC from your armor and your weapons and the primary equipment that we lost. So, let's say, so Shinga is our paladin, like I've been going on and on and on about. Level 18, pretty strong. In fact, I think I gave him 1 level up because he had enough experience to level up at the end of the last game, but then there was a level cap, like Secret of the Silver Blades would only go to level 17 paladin, I think. So then as soon as this one started, I just gave him a quick level up. It probably lowered his Thaco a little bit, probably 1 less Thaco and like 3 HP or something. You don't get much HP at high levels, so it's not much different. I'm not sure if this sword actually have the silver property, but this is the sword he was supposed to have. I just added silver, but it might not be if silver has some special effect against, say, undead, it might not work. So we'll be looking out for a new silver sword that works better, so I can figure out how that works. I think the silver shields can reflect stone gazes, for instance, if it's working properly. So anyway, that's Shinga, and again, like I said, if he doesn't leave a comment, this paladin slot might be open for some new player, perhaps. So anyway, he's a high-level paladin with Lay on Hands, Cure Wounds. He can learn a bunch of cleric spells. It's pretty awesome. We've got Fella McGubbins, our cleric ranger. He also had one of those girdles of ogre strength, and a bit less gear, nothing silvery this time. I know, like, the last boss that we fought at the very end of Secret of the Silver Blades dropped a lot of level 5 gear, so we should have really high shields and plate mail and stuff. So it's pretty awesomely strong. Level 15 cleric, level 14 ranger. He needs one more ranger level up to get 2 attacks per round, so we're really looking forward to that. And rangers get some interesting spell selections in these first edition games, so he's got a lot of things he can do, which is pretty neat. We've got Pixel, who's our fighter mage. Fighters get their second attack at level 13 rather than 15, so he's already got his 2 attacks per round. The Cloak of Displacement, I may have programmed it incorrectly. It does add 2 armor class, but I think that was originally a spell, like a displaced spell effect, that instead of like giving you -2 armor class, it gave you the effect of displacement, which happened to give you -2 AC. But, you know, for now it'll work. If we find new Cloaks of Displacement, we can replace these sort of hacked-in ones. I think the Banded Mail is supposed to be 12 movement if it's enchanted, but it didn't seem to work for me, because I think he had 12 movement in the last game. Some things aren't perfect, is all I'm trying to say. So anyway, that's Pixel, fighter mage. This is a good point to talk about something that is recommended for Pools of Darkness. So this game is actually quite difficult from all I've heard. The most difficult of the 4. Not just are we fighting high-level enemies, it's designed to be difficult. So we may actually have some deaths and game overs. The general recommendation for first edition rule set for this game is to make basically everyone a human dual class, which is different than a non-human multi-class. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time getting into the ins and outs of what we've done on our journey, but multi-class for like a half-elf levels both, or you can have up to 3 classes at the same time, and they all level up together slowly. That's why Pixel is level 14, and a single class is already level 18. So a pure single class character will level up quicker than a multi-class. And you get the benefits of both fighter and mage, which is pretty awesome. But the thing is, so at level 13, your fighter gets 2 attacks per round, and they've got a pretty good THAC0, like chance to hit enemies is pretty awesome. If you get them more fighter levels, their THAC0 will keep getting better, so it's a little bit easier to hit. But you don't really get any more HP at high levels, so you're not gaining much value for all that experience that's being sort of stolen by the fighter half of your class. Whereas the magic user keeps getting new spells, and the spells get stronger every level up. So what the recommendation is for almost all your characters to get to like level 13 fighter or level 15 fighter, dual class to magic user or cleric or whatever you want for maximum spell charges. Dual classes are weird, but once you've surpassed the original class's level in your new class, because you're only one at a time with a dual class, you regain all of their abilities. So you'll be a level, say we had a level 14 fighter dual class to a mage. For a long time, he would be just a mage. Once he got to level 15 mage, suddenly he'd get all this THAC0, and he could equip all the gear again, and it'd be pretty awesome. And then from then on, he'd gain experience as a magic user, and he'd get a lot more levels. So your sort of maximum potential would be like level 13 fighter, level 20 magic user, instead of level 17 fighter, level 17 magic user, if we stay as a multi-class. I'm not sure if I'm going to switch that. It depends on how difficult things get. I can, because I've got a character editor, I can sort of fuzzy change stuff like that, even though normally that would require an entirely new character. But we'll see how difficult the game gets, and we'll figure it out from there, is all I'm trying to say. Anyway, that's Pixel. I spent lots of time talking about that. Christina is our sort of jack-of-all-trades. I have a feeling cleric, fighter, mages are not going to be as good in this game as they were in Pools of Radiance. 3 classes are going to be lower levels. They seem to be really good early on, but in the higher tiers they slow down, so they won't have the great spell casting that I would like from a single class mage or a dual class mage. So like Christiana here is not going to get Delayed Blast Fireball, which is a level. You need to be, I think, level 14 as a magic user to get. She'll get it eventually, but like she'll have less charges of the best spells, is what I'm trying to say. She's a good all-rounder and she can do tons of stuff, but her high level casting is going to suffer for it a little bit. Sarius is our thief, and I don't mind having a triple class thief as much because you need someone that can pick locks and open doors and detect traps and all your normal thievery type things. Thieves also level up very quickly. He would be a good one to dual class if you didn't want to be a fighter mage thief, because the thief, once you're at like level 10 or 12, I forget the exact level, but there's a cap on the thief bonuses as well, and I think there's like a backstab multiplier, and probably as you get to like level 15 or so, you get to the maximum backstab multiplier. Thief levels again are kind of wasted, whereas the mage levels keep getting better. But we'll probably leave Sarius, or whoever he becomes, as a fighter mage thief for now. Also, one more fighter level up, and he can get 2 attacks per round, which would be great. So I have like a Ring of Protection here, Cloak of Displacement, Bracers instead of armor, so this way he can use his backstabs and other thief skills. If you equip heavy armor, thieves can't do that, so that's how that works. When we started the game, they all started with composite longbows, so even if you didn't have this at the end of the last game, this game just added it in when I made the character, so I'm like, sure, whatever. They're pretty good. They're not like... I might have had something slightly better, but composite longbows add your strength bonus to damage, which is something bows don't usually do. So these are really good, and if we're fighting super high level enemies with like hundreds of HP, this is probably fair. Like, it's really not a big deal. Doing like 2 damage with a bow is just not going to kill anything, basically, if it's 1 to 8 without strength bonus. So anyway, that's our thief, and then there's always me. This character is not up for grabs. So this is my avatar in the game, and I know my stats are a little bit overpowered. They're actually not buffed that much, but I gave myself a few extra stats. I think my strength was lower, but in the last game I gave myself as the almighty blue, I equipped myself some gear that set my strength to 18, like a girdle of giant strength or something like that. Again, I can't replicate it, so let's just say my strength is now 18, even though maybe it used to be 12 or something. So anyway, that's I'm the only one that's not a fighter, so I can't actually even equip all the weapons and stuff. Clerics can only use like blunt weapons, so maces tend to be about as good as I can get, but at least I can get shield and good bracers. And that's that. So that's all the characters. I'm hoping that I don't need a pure mage. Pure mages get the most spells, but they're also very, very fragile. Like, I've got, 84... I've given everyone, like, basically max HP as if they rolled the best possible dice for all their level ups for HP. If you were a pure mage, your maximum HP would be, like, 60 or something right now. Like, that's with perfect luck. A pure mage would have very low HP, which is very dangerous, because there's a lot of enemies that just do a ton of damage. So I like to have a little bit more survivability on most of my characters. So I think that's all for our sort of run around the characterized. Like I said, if you're one of those 6, make sure you leave a comment. And if you'd like to join, also leave a comment, and I might be able to work you in. Bonus points if you add a little bit of role-playing for what your character has been up to in between games, or some such. Okay, so the other thing, before I get to the demo and introduction video, I just want to show you... one of the helpful hints. Every now and then I'll be referring to the manual and the clue book here, and I'll pop them on screen just like this. So the clue book is a little bit overpowered if you use it too much. It's got like maps and stuff with all the treasure and encounters in game. I'll try not to use it very often, but sometimes it's just too difficult to map everything out well, actually, we've got an auto map. It's not that bad, but sometimes it's just very nice to be able to look something up if you're stuck in a puzzle. So I think, honestly, when your time is valuable, like during a Let's Play, having something like this on hand is very, very good for saving time, even if some people might think it's kind of cheatery. But normally you would need your adventurer's journal one way or the other. This one has like journal entries, which covers a lot of the story elements. It covers a lot of what the spells will do, and we'll talk about those as we learn some new spells. But yeah, we get like journal entries as we, instead of in-game journals, like new games, we'll look them up in this journal, for instance. And, you know, it just gives you an idea of what some of the spell casting stuff... I always like looking through these to get a feel for how the spells work. And we'll maybe talk about this more as we actually start playing the game. So you can see sort of the spell chart. This is what I was referring to for mages. Like a level 13 or 14 mage can only learn up to level 6 or 7 spells. And we're going to want all the way up to level 9 spells. I'm not sure if anything but a pure mage or a fighter that dual classes into mage can get to this kind of experience level. We'll see. Also, this chart doesn't show what happens at level 19, 20, 21, other than it shows how much experience it costs and that they get 1 HP per level up. I believe eventually all of their spells per level will be 5, but I don't know the exact distribution past level 18. Someone probably has a chart that goes to level 30 somewhere, but I don't have it. At least I don't have it right now. So anyway, that's the same kind of thing for Cleric. Like I said, Rangers get Druid spells and Magic User spells. Kind of cool. And Paladins get some Cleric spells. At high levels, they get all kinds of cool stuff. And there you go. So anyway, like I said, I'll be using these here and there. It's also quite nice. I think what I'll try to do, as I've done before, when we run into a new monster, I'll try to look it up here to explain a little bit more about what the monster is, because the Gold Box games don't do a great job of in-game describing stuff. You just see the picture and then it kills you. Beholders are pretty bad. But I'll switch back to this book, and I'll be like, oh, we found a white dragon. That's what this thing does. Expect freezing breath. You know, that gives us a bit of an idea what we're up against. And then the rule book we probably won't need to use for much. This is more just how to play the game. So you probably won't need to refer to this if you're watching along, because I can explain most of that. I'm pretty good with that kind of stuff. All right, so with all that said, let me reset the game here, and I'll show you the cool introduction video. Basically, you have to exit to DOS to reset it quickly. Just 1 second, everybody. All right, so we're back. Start the game up. You know what? I can make this full screen here just for this video. Transform. Try and do this on the fly. Then we can just hide the other ones. Okay, don't miss the story right there. It's going right now. This was the story from Pools of Radiance, or Pool of Radiance right now they're going over. There we go, put it right in the middle. Some would-be heroes! You guys remember that guy's name? Was it like Tyran Thraxis or something like that? Bound them. Now we're at this Curse of the Azure Bonds. And that didn't work. The heroes won again. That was a really quick recap for the first 2 games there. Whew. The Dreadlord was a great fight. You guys remember that fight? I think we backstabbed him and killed him in 1 shot. It was pretty awesome. It was like a super powerful lich. Uh-oh. I guess this guy hasn't dropped it yet. I thought we'd killed him. I thought Thraxis was dead for sure, right? So there's your story recap. Hope you enjoyed it. Now let's see the introduction demo, because one of the cool things about Pools of Darkness is they've upgraded some of the systems in the game. Hold on. What's it doing here? There we go. Had to click demo. Okay, welcome, my friends. The time for heroes to gather is nigh, for trusted companions to join forces against evil. The mighty Sir Signhelm, the noble Alifred, and the quick Kristka. Now these guys have pretty amazing HP stats, or really high levels, higher than me. The peace in this Moonsea region. Oh, I can't read this quickly. You guys will have to read along. Only the mightiest. Oh boy. But yeah, it is, like, this game is designed to be difficult. That's everything I hear. The last couple games we played, Secrets and Curse, were both pretty easy. This one, not so much, from what I hear. Oh, you know how I love Magical Treasure. Oh, by the way, I'll have, some different background music for the Let's Play. This game has more background music than the previous titles, but it has still a lot of dead air. So I'll be inserting some other video game music to fill the quiet here and there. Although there's apparently more than one song for this game. That's impressive. I think all the other 3 Gold Box games we played had like one battle theme and one introduction video theme. So this is an improvement. Oh no! It's a Drider! Archer spiders! Alright. So turn undead. It didn't work. There's some vampires down there, sometimes it works. But it didn't work this time. In this game, it just makes them immediately flee, basically. Also, this is Delayed Blast Fireball, which is everyone's favorite spell from 1st edition. You can see the ridiculous amounts of damage it can do. In case you're wondering, 56 is half damage, that's a saving throw pass. 113 damage is how much damage they've rolled on it, which is... They must be like a level 19 or 20 mage to do that much damage, I think. I forget the exact numbers, but... An incredibly strong mage. Alright, so we're off to a pretty good start with those Delayed Blast Fireballs. I don't like spiders that can shoot lightning, though. That was a good lightning bolt. Because it bounces. And then it interrupts all the casting. You can't cast magic if you took damage on this round. It's difficult to explain all the game mechanics like this when it's just on auto battle, but I'll try to make sure I keep you guys informed as we play through it. Electric Spiders, hey? Sounds like an awesome garage band name. I think my team is going to lose here. Well, at least they didn't get disintegrated, so that's a start. In the test video where I watched this one the first time, the vampires all got turned, so they died immediately. And then the Delayed Blast Fireball did a little bit better. So if anyone was charmed, they're basically dead. Like, there's no coming back from it. But they're doing really good at interrupting and bouncing those lightning bolts around. So those spiders are doing a really good job crushing everyone here. They also seem to be immune to lightning, which is neat. I always liked Lightning Bolt. I don't know why he didn't cast that. That was dumb. Old Monsters is really good. But yeah, those lightning bolts are just crushing us. Yeah, Kriska's toast. Alfgard keeps getting interrupted. So bandaging stops you from bleeding out. I think it's... I forget the exact number for this one. It depends on which game you're playing, but sometimes it's negative 10 hit points is death. Sometimes it's like your negative constitution score in hit points. Sometimes it's negative your max hit points. But it just depends on which game. I forget the mechanics, but you go unconscious at 0 HP and you die at something negative. I forget the exact number. Could be just negative 10 even. Oh, the unaffected there. The spider probably can apply poison, which just basically, for the purposes of this video, just kills you. So getting poisoned is pretty rude. So there's like a saving throw roll every time on poison chance. Well, it looks like they won anyway. That's pretty good. Kriska is unconscious, so she's not actually dead, which is nice. If I was playing, at least I wouldn't be too mad. The good news is, for these later in the series games, because you're at such a high level, your clerics tend to have Raise Dead and similar spells. So it's not as difficult to recover from being turned to stone or poisoned as it was in Pool of Radiance, where you couldn't do anything about it other than spend money at a temple. So anyway, that's it for this introduction video. I'm going to leave this up for maybe a day or two, just enough time to see who replies or comments. And like I said, just a final recap. If you are one of the 6, make sure to let me know you want to stay around. Shinga, Fella, Pixel, Christiana, Sirius. Well, one of the 5, I guess. I'm going to stay. I'm just going to tell you guys. I'm going to stay. And if you're not one of those 6, but you'd like to join, I mean, I don't know if those other 5 people will still come back, so maybe you've got a chance of joining the crew. Either way, I hope you'll join me on this Let's Play of Pools of Darkness, and I will see you for proper Episode 1 introduction next video in a day or two. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.